the Christian community is very interesting to me, and I'd like your opinion on this as well. I tend to like people that go to church. Yep. I tend to like God-fearing people. I respect them. I grew up a Catholic, grew up going to church. My parents are very religious. My grandmother was very, very religious. Mm-hmm. I find people at the top of religion to be just as bad as politicians. I think that they're sharks. I think that they are charlatans. I think that there is a remarkable amount of graft and corruption, and I don't think it's ever addressed. I always think it's excused away, and it's been my experience, unfortunately, that people use religion either as a weapon or as an excuse for their bad behavior more often than they use it to improve the communities around them.
Preaching, bro. You could come on my channel and say that.
Well, I mean, that's
I think that's accurate.
You agree with that?
Yeah. Because here's the thing. I don't think everyone starts that way. I think what happens is you become successful. You have a platform, and then people come and want to criticize you, and you don't know what's genuine critique. Right, I'm saying on your way up, you don't know what's a genuine critique, what's you're just a hater, and then like what's like, oh bro, you just told me to like you wish my kids died, right? Like these guys that are coming up, these pastors that are coming up, so they're coming up. So what they do is they then insulate themselves and they cut everybody off, and then it's ran like a top-down organization.
Name names.
Stephen Furtick.
Okay.
Started out 10 years ago, went to Southern Seminary, biggest church in America. They did $90 million last year in revenue. Okay. Started out going to Southern Seminary. Genuinely, I think was trying to help. And the more successful he got, the more insulated he got.
Stephen Furtick, is he one of the pray away the gay guys?
No. Elevation Church.
Okay.
Massive church. He's more on some.
Who's the one out in L.A. with the fellowship? Was it?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh shit, David, can you look up L.A. Chris Pratt? Justin Bieber, that fellowship.
Are you talking about Hillsong?
Is it Hillsong?
Hillsong. Yeah, that's another example. I mean, Hillsong, they just had a massive scandal come out, docuseries. These guys start out wanting to help. Genuinely, I think trying to lead to what I say we all agree on. Christian, non-Christian, atheist. I think we all agree that human flourishing is what we all want. We all ultimately want humanity to flourish. And I think these guys start out believing that and thinking they're adding a net positive to the world. And as you build an institution where, there's no elders, there's no one to check you, you get to write your own ticket. And then there's so many people that then depend on you. You're talking about hundreds, if not thousands of staff internationally, some of these institutions. I think it becomes very difficult. And so I think it's a slow drift. And then before you know it, you're like, whoa, I'm basically a CEO of a church, and absolute power absolutely corrupts. And then bad things happen, you know? And so we saw it with Hillsong. Southern Baptist Convention, which is the biggest, technically like second biggest denomination, biggest evangelical denominations. Catholics are actually the biggest denomination. They just had a massive scandal come out. There was a lot of like this culture war stuff happening. And then it felt weird because they were like, you guys are electing liberal officials and this doesn't make sense. And people are like, we're not, what are you talking about? Like, we're not liberals. We reject CRT. We reject all these things. And then what came to find out was that they had massive scandals, sex abuse scandals. And people were like, why can't you hold these folks accountable, right? And because there's like autonomous churches, but they're under this SBC umbrella. Long story short, they found out that not only did they know, they had a list of 700 pastors with credible sex allegations that they hid and moved them around.
Yeah, that's the Catholic Church blueprint for 100 years.
And that's the only